Hi, the Real McRae here. It is my day off, and it has just been day 44 of the Dark Shadows experiment of 2013. And why is that important? Well, it's important for this reason. Tomorrow's going to be day 45. The initial Dark Shadows experiment only ran for 45 days. So we then have a couple of weekdays, and then we have 2 more weeks. So it's the point where we exceed the original Dark Shadows experiment by a whole 2 weeks. So please send care packages. It was a challenge last year. This year I am in the arena just as much, if not more. So I'm looking, hey, something happened on my computer. So I'm looking forward to that. It's been a while since my last video. I've actually done several, but they have gotten eaten by technology. So I am going back to as old school as I possibly can. And I spent all last winter, and I mean every moment of every day last winter. Now, a little bit here and a little bit there, trying to figure out the best way to make it easy and fast and pretty for me to do videos this time through, because videos were so much the bread and butter of what I did last year. And it's just been so much of a pain, and I've been so tired, it has not been a central driving force for me. The good news is that if you want to follow the project, well, you can follow it in the best way possible, and that's by reading the journal entries. And the thing is that unlike the videos, you can read the journal entries at your own pace. They can be taken with you. We're going to get a PDF made out of them, and so on and so forth. And so I guess the first thing I want to do is I want to make a plea for anyone who would know of a blogging service that would not only allow me to import the file of all of the entries, but then reverse the chronology of them. Because what we're dealing with is that it's got my most recent stuff first, and if I want to publish it as a narrative, I'm in trouble. I love the show. Writing like this, however, makes me impatient with its faults, and makes its faults very obvious. You know, last year I was able to wander around and kind of mess around with Photoshop and do this and that, and Dark Shadows, as much as something that I watched, it was just more or less a companion. And that music became the music of my life, and as I would pass from room to room, these voices would follow me, and I've talked about that. It almost felt like I was living at Collinwood. And that was cool. However, this year, because I'm focusing on the episodes, I'm focusing on what's going on, and focusing on what I need to write, the quality of what I do depends on the quality of what they do. And when you run into a dry spell, and by dry spell I mean the Leviathans and certain other areas, it's easy to get unforgiving toward the show. It will be fun once again to watch it as a casual viewer. I don't know when that's going to be, because I still have other projects in mind, but I look forward to that. It's been interesting to see which characters, I think I mentioned this before, have been writers and which aren't. I feel obligated to have Quentin write, and I have purposefully repeated the motif with Burke and David, with Quentin and Jameson. So that's because they're very, very, very similar characters in both senses, and I wanted to create a sense of parallels. I wanted to... when I wrote Quentin spends most of his time drinking. And, unless you're a genius, a literary genius, when you drink, I don't imagine you're in the mood to sit down and write flowery phrases. And so, most of Quentin's stuff's pretty short. I went back and reread a big chunk of it backwards last night, and I was very pleased with the quality. I couldn't believe it. I thought, geez, I wrote this? Not bad. The challenging thing is that I seem to have a hatred of question marks, and there's definitely stuff that needs to be proofed. When I write these, I often write them as the next episode is on, and so I'm really cranking them out. I hope that these are useful for people. I hope that, because I get a lot of hits on the website, and that's good. The analytics, however, are not good enough to tell me exactly what they're looking at. So, feel free to respond. I don't know if it's just curiosity. It may simply be a matter of poking their head in, saying, geez, I have no idea what episode this guy is on, what's happening here, and then going away. And I think some of that is a problem with the design of the blog's theme. The blog's theme is not particularly easy to navigate. I don't think I can get in trouble with them for saying that. In fact, while it looks perfect for a job like this, I would have made a different choice. So there's actually a secret theme that is out there. There's a secret second blog that I use for editing. Frankly, if I'm using it for editing, maybe people should just have access to it, or maybe I should port that theme over. So I'm on the verge with that. If I heard from you and you said, yes, that's a wonderful idea, or no, I love the theme, or something like that, it would really help a lot. I'm looking forward to this project being over with. Not so much to just get it over with, although I feel like I am having my fill of Dark Shadows right now. I'm not sick of it, but I am truly having the Dark Shadows experience in a way that I did not have last summer. For good or ill. And I think some of it is that I do see the negative stuff on the show. For instance, I'm not going to tell you who, but when people talk about bad acting on Dark Shadows, they're talking about the wrong actor. I could talk about a certain actor whose acting is so bad, it's almost as if they got a stand-in to go in his place. I was going somewhere and I don't remember. We were talking about, I think, Dark Shadows. Anyway, last project I'm doing, and this is just sort of puttering around in the background, is I have been re-editing for myself, for my own pleasure, the Dark Shadows movie. I think I can do this legally. I mean, I'm not going to be distributing it anywhere and demanding money or whatnot, but I think it's kind of like buying a book. Heck, Thomas Jefferson did it with the Bible. I think once you own a book, you can cut it up and do whatever you want with it. So I'm trying to save the movie. There's only so much you can save. You can't really change the Roger section of the story to make him more Rogery. You just have to give that up. But it's amazing how much of the narrative is in there, and I think John August's original screenplay is in there. Wallace McBride and I had talked about doing a commentary, and he was on a phone call with one of the stars of the show. So that's a pretty good excuse to reschedule. I'm on with that. Re-editing the movie like this is about the best prep possible to do a commentary on the movie, because I'm getting to know it very intimately. And it's horrible. So, when in doubt of what to talk about, it's a safe subject. But it's impressive. In the book, The Making of, or The Art of Dark Shadows, the movie, which I think it's The Art of Dark Shadows, the movie. Oh, unfortunately, it's Dark Shadows, the visual companion. And there's a part of me that just wishes it were blank. But it's a pretty book, I guess. However, for one thing, it cost money, so what's up with that? The most interesting section of the book is at the very beginning, where they talk about the making of the movie. And, I've heard all sorts of theories about the making of the movie. And yes, history is written by the victors. I'm sure the studio had everything to do with constructing this thing. However, they openly talk about how unfamiliar Seth Grahame-Smith was with the source material. He only read it enough or watched it enough to get a sense of the characters, which he didn't get a very good sense. And considering the movie stinks, it doesn't have good sense either. There are a lot of smoking guns. There are a lot of discussions that Depp and Burton admit to about, we're just coming up with jokes, rapping around, it was like jazz. And when I think of Dark Shadows, especially Dark Shadows at its best, with fantastic writers, I think of something much more disciplined. I'm sure they threw ideas around, but those guys had to write like samurai, and I appreciate that. And it's my day off. Have a great one. Take care. Bye.